got to a stage where my path was blocked, and for me to fulfill what I wanted to do in my career, I needed to take another journey.
Gibbs White, Neco Williams, deflection, goal!
You know, I wanted to go to a team where the ambitions are so high.
Williams hits it, and boy did he hit it!
If I didn't go through them lows, what I did under him, that wouldn't be sat here today and playing today.
Tavernier is back on his feet. It's Neco Williams that was travelling, and Petrovic gets to it.
Why can't we dream big and go for the Europa League?
Hello, Nico.
How's things?
You okay?
All good.
Quite a place, isn't it?
Yeah, some place. Fourth season here now. Unbelievable memories. Just wish I could score a few more goals on here.
Be nice, yeah. What's it like when it's rocking?
Yeah, oh,
City ground. I mean, Mulligan tyre, everything, the whole package at the top is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible. You know, I've said it so many times in interviews that the fans here are our 12th man, and we thrive off that. The louder they are, the better we play. So yeah, it's incredible feeling when they're singing, cheering. No better feeling.
Have you brought your daughter yet? Because she's 4 months old now, something like that?
Yeah, she comes to every game.
Does she?
Yeah, she does. I get
a season ticket already?
Yeah, I get a bit of a earful off the missus though when it's a night game and we're messing up a night routine, yeah, but no, it's worth it. I think one of the first games she went to was when I got presented my 50th cap at the Cardiff City Stadium. So yeah, she's been to mostly every game and hopefully I can continue.
Lucky mascot then?
Lucky mascot, yeah.
Excellent, right, let's go inside and have a chat.
Perfect.
Come this way. Right, Nico, we've got some pictures for you to look at, just to hopefully jog your memory a little bit of what it was like when you were first starting playing football. What's this one? Do you remember?
Yeah, this was actually for my primary school. We had a football tournament, and yeah, we ended up going on to win it. I think I was the captain then as well, so only good memories. But yeah, that was for my school. That one was.
Yeah, okay. So it was Kevin United was your first team.
First team, yeah, Kevin United.
Yeah. So it's Kevin. I should be saying it correctly.
Kevin United.
And what do you remember about when you were first playing then all those years ago?
Just enjoying it.
Yeah. How old were you when you started?
6 maybe. 6. Yeah, memories of playing for them was literally just playing and wanting to score goals and just enjoying it. You know, everything I did at that age was just football related. Playing the games on the weekends, training sessions, the tournaments you used to go to with the hairspray and all them. It's just, yeah, great memories to have. And at that age, I just love playing. Just love playing with my mates. Love playing the games. And back then as well, I was a striker, so I just loved scoring goals as well.
Yeah.
You know, as a kid, you don't want to. It's cliche for me to say, but you don't want to grow up as a full-back or a centre-back. You want to be a striker scoring goals. So, yeah, at that age, I was a striker and I used to just score a lot of goals. And that's what probably got me scouted.
Yeah, it's funny how these things turn out, isn't it? You mentioned hairspray. I don't know if this is hairspray or just...
Well, this is actually hair dye.
Okay.
Funny reason, actually. I think when I was born, I had a blonde streak going through my hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And yeah, it's obviously quite rare and unique. And my family just wanted to keep it with me when I was growing up. So they ended up putting dye in my hair. Well, that was the reason anyway. But from my dad's reason, it was more for I stood out when I was playing. So when the scouts are watching, they see a young lad with a blonde streak going through his hair and they're thinking, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of both.
So if all the goals didn't get you noticed, at least the hair.
Well, yeah, I think that's what it was. If you ask my mum, it was because I was born with a blonde streak going through my hair and they wanted to keep it. For my dad, it was to get noticed more when I was playing.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was David Beckham, but you're probably a bit too young for that, aren't you, to be fair?
Yeah, I'm a bit too young for that one.
Yeah. I mean, who's that with you?
So this is my mate I grew up with, Keenan. yeah, played together, same age, grew up in school together. His dad was one of my first coaches, Phil. But yeah, great memories.
So I spoke to Phil, and as you mentioned, he told me all about being one of your earliest coaches. He praised how humble you were. He said even when you were that age, you were always one of the players who would hang around afterwards to put the balls away, tidy the cones up, whatever it took, really.
Yeah.
And everyone who talks about you seems to have the same sort of things to say. I was watching the video of your 100 games for Nottingham Forest, and the things that teammates are picking out are the same sort of qualities. Is that something that you sort of pride yourself upon?
Yeah, it's just more of a respect thing. You know, it's just a thing that I've always done and will always continue to do. You know, if that's staying behind, helping the coaches put the balls away, or helping, you know, the staff do whatever. I've just always done that, so that's just always carried on and stayed with me.
There must have been a lot of attention on you guys growing up in Kevin Mauer, because I'm right in saying it's only 5,000-6,000 people who live in the village, something like that. What's the village like?
Small village. If I went back home now and drove through the village, I'd know where everyone lives. I remember taking my partner home for the first time, and a few years back now, and she just said, I can't believe, like, you drive through the village and you're just pointing at every house going through the village saying, you know who lives there, you know who lives there, your uncle, my cousin. So like everyone's like all together, living close together, and it's nice, yeah.
As Manchester United fans, it must have been difficult taking the son to play for Liverpool as well, mustn't it?
Yeah, it was a weird, not weird time, but all my family supported Man United.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, and then at the age of 9, I had the choice to either go to Liverpool, United, and then I remember that my dad telling me, like, who do you want to play for, Man United or Liverpool? And that was Liverpool, and that's why I chose Liverpool at that time.
Who was taking you?
So used to take me training was mum, dad, my granddad. They used to take it in turns, driving, because obviously for them as well, it's difficult. You know, it's an hour there, watch training, an hour back. So they had to make a lot of sacrifice as well. And again, like, I wouldn't be sat here without them, because they sacrificed a lot for themselves for me to fulfill my dream, and that was obviously to be a professional footballer.
You mentioned your granddad before. I read that you said that's where your football ability comes from.
Yeah.
He was the talk of the village a couple of generations before you, basically, because of how good he was.
Yeah. He was the footballer in the family. I'm sure he had trials for Everton at one time as well. But before the trials, he broke his leg, and obviously back then it's completely different now. So when you break your leg, it's more complicated. So yeah, he never, obviously after that leg break, he obviously never fully recovered and stuff. But yeah, I think if he didn't break his leg, he would have a good chance of going pro. But he was definitely the footballer in the family.
The tragic part of your story was losing your granddad on the eve of the World Cup as well in 2022.
Day before my first World Cup game against USA, my family flew out on that day, and they got the news whilst they were on the plane. And obviously they're with all the other players' families and stuff, so all them knew as well. And when they landed, they made the decision to tell me the night before, because they didn't want, you know, on accident, another player come up to me and say something, and I'm a bit like, well, what are you going on about? So yeah, it's obviously such a difficult moment, and to be honest, that tournament was just like a bit of a blur for me. Because obviously you're losing a loved one, but I knew, and everyone else told me, my family, my nan, that he would have wanted me to play. He wasn't an emotional person or anything like that. He would have just said, listen, Nico, what are you doing? Just crack on and play. So, you know, that's why I played.
And then he would have told you about how you played directly afterwards.
Then he would give me a bit of stick. But no, it was, so that tournament was so special, and obviously not so special.
And what does playing for Wales mean to you as well? I mean, The family must be so proud of you representing the country. I'm sure your granddad would be incredibly proud of what you've done as well.
It was obviously unbelievably proud moment, not just for me, but for my family as well.
Tell us about the debut and specifically the call-up for the first time as well, because there's a bit of a story attached, isn't there?
So the actual first ever phone call I had was, obviously, Giggsy was the manager at the time, and we had an under-23s game, and I was in the change rooms just before the game, and I had a missed call off a number. So I left it, and then I had another call off him. I was like, let me answer this. I was in the change rooms, the music's on. I go, hello? And he's like, hi mate, it's Ryan. And I'm like, Ryan? I'm like, Ryan who? He's like, oh, Ryan Giggs. And my face just dropped. I was like, oh my, I just ran out, the music's on, everything. I just ran out the changing rooms, went into the corridor. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I just got a game, and obviously I don't have your number saved, so I don't know who it was, sorry. He's like, oh no, it's all good. And he just said, I wanted to let you know that I'm calling you up for the up and coming games. And when he said that, I was just absolutely buzzing. Got back into the change room, just smiling. 30 minutes later, we had a 23s game, and I can't even remember that game, like the score or anything. I just remember I've just been called up to Wales, so yeah, I was absolutely buzzing.
Obviously, playing for Wales then has become normal for you now. You've played at major tournaments. You've become one of the experienced players in the squad, and the squad's next ambition is to reach the next World Cup. I mean, how much of a challenge have you got as a group to make it? You got Bosnia next, then you face another round after that as well. But you must be so focused on getting there now. Yeah,
it's like you said, a big challenge, and for us, our ambition is to go to every major tournament we can possibly qualify for. And the way we got to the World Cup last time was essentially through a semi-final and final, and we've got the exact same goal this time round. Like you said, we got Bosnia first, and then hopefully winning that with a final against either Italy or Northern Ireland. But we've done it before, and we're hoping to do it again. We're only a small country, so we don't have loads and loads of players. But what gets us to tournaments is our spirit and our togetherness. And that's what definitely got us through last time round, and we're just hoping to replicate it this time. We've been through it, a semi-final and a final before, and it's exactly what we've got to go through again. So yeah, our focus is on them games and hoping to do everything we can to qualify.
Let's rewind a little bit and go back to when you're in the academy at Liverpool. So you've obviously made your way through. You're on the cusp of the first team. Tell us about your first day training with the first team and exactly what you needed to cancel to be able to make that training session.
Yeah, so I was away on my 18th birthday. We had a tournament in Dallas, under 18s. So I was actually away for my birthday. So when I got back in a few days later, I organised my mates to come round mine. So we'll have a few drinks and we'll go out. Then obviously got back, mates came round, and I had a message off my under-18s manager at the time, Barry Lutus, saying, you're due to report with the first team tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And I was thinking, hang on, surely this is a prank or something, like training with the first team tomorrow morning. I've just got back from America and got my mates round for my birthday, like surely this is a prank. I think I text back saying, like, are you sure? And he was like, yep, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, all the birthday plans got cancelled. I had to kick everyone out the house. They all still went on and had a good night, but
in your honour, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But I just went straight upstairs and straight to bed for a 9 o'clock report in the morning with the first team.
And that started then from that day, really, your progression to being a first team player at Liverpool. Your debut came in the League Cup. It's a pretty crazy game to make your debut as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Before that, I've never been on the bench for the first team. I've only trained a few times for the first team. I must have lost about 3 kg in just sweat just because I was that nervous. I just didn't know what to expect either. Like I said, like I never had that experience of being on the bench, so I could see what it's kind of like. It was just.
So you'd never been in the squad before?
No squads, nothing.
Just on training. Basically.
Yeah, just training. So yeah, just got kind of thrown straight into the deep end.
You had to wait a little while for your Premier League debut for Liverpool, and that actually came during Project Restart. So the pandemic hits, everything goes into lockdown, football stops, and when it restarts again, that's the time where you get into the Premier League squads and make your Premier League debut. That must have been a really bizarre situation to be starting out in senior football.
Yeah, it was a really strange. Well, not actually so strange for me because I've always been used to playing in front of, no fans really from the academy days. So for me, I was kind of, I'm used to this. This is fine for me. Obviously for them, it's a bit different. So yeah, it was strange because, when you're a kid, every time you watch football, you see the stadiums and all the fans and you're like, yes, that's what I want to do one day. And then you eventually get to the first team and you're making your debut, but there's no fans there. So it's a bit of a strange feeling. And
just to make it even more surreal, 6 matches later, you're lifting the Premier League title as well.
Yeah, mad feeling. But at that time, I was still young. I've only played a few games, and I've got a medal for the Premier League. I'm lifting the Premier League trophy, and I thought, well, I'm playing for the best team in the world here. If this is what it's like all the time, then I want to stay here. I want to do everything I can to be a professional footballer playing in the Premier League and trying to fight and win for stuff. So yeah, it just gives you that motivation to be like, well, I want to stay here now. I don't want to play a few games and drop back to the 23s or drop down, whatever it is. I wanted to, play at the highest level and to compete and to win stuff.
Was that in the end the motivation of going to Fulham then? The fact that you wanted to play a bit more consistently? Yeah,
it got to a stage where I wanted to be. My path was blocked, and for me to fulfill what I wanted to do in my career, I needed to take another journey, and that was obviously go on loan to Fulham.
Yeah.
And get a taste of what it's like to play week in, week out for a team. And after that loan, I absolutely loved that loan. First real taste of, being a proper first team player. Like I said, playing week in, week out. But I knew I couldn't do that at Liverpool because I wanted to, have that taste and that feeling of what it was like to play week in, week out. So I knew I had to leave that time. Came to obviously Forest and never looked back.
New home here. Not bad, is it?
Yeah, new home.
What was it about it that drew you?
I think it's... Everyone can see how ambitious the club is. Not just the club, but how ambitious the owner is, how ambitious the fans are. I wanted to go to a team where the ambitions are so high. He's just so passionate about the club and wanting to take this club to the very top, which I believe he will. It's not going to happen, obviously, overnight or in a season or two, but eventually he will take the club to the very top because of how ambitious and how passionate he is with this club. And the owners took this club from the bottom of the Championship all the way into Europa League. So it shows how passionate and how ambitious he is.
Was Steve Cooper a factor back then as well, considering you'd worked with him as a kid at Liverpool?
Yeah, again, Steve Cooper was another big one that got me to the club. We had a lot of ups and downs and bumps in the road, but I would never be in the position I'm in today without him, because he made me go through the very lows of football. At times, I wasn't even training with the squad. I was 5th choice right back. I wasn't getting on the bench. Wasn't training with the team. And at that time, my mentality changed. I think I'd done the first season, then the second season with, I think, a few days left of the window. He pulled me in his office and said, I'm not part of his plans and I need to go on loan. and I think I took that a bit personally, because I was like, no, I don't want to prove to you. I don't want to prove my ability to you by doing it with another team. I want to prove to you by doing it in your team and at Forest. So I was like, I'm not going on loan. I'll fight for my position to get back into the team. And I worked on stuff that I felt like I needed to work on, physical and mental stuff. And it helped me massively. And if I didn't go through them lows, what I did with under him, like I said, I wouldn't be sat here today and playing today. It was a tough time, but I got through it. Eventually, I got back in his team.
What's your standout moment here that sticks in your head straight away when I ask you that?
One that sticks out straight away was the first season when we beat Arsenal to stay up.
Yeah.
Like I said, that season was just so emotionally, draining, not just for us players, but for the fans as well. And, to reap that award by beating Arsenal here at the stadium, to stay up in the league, it was just some feeling. I was in the stands watching, and I just remember that as soon as the final whistle went, the relief just, it was, incredible feeling. So that was definitely one that sticks in my mind. And the other one is obviously the season we had last season is getting into Europe. I think every pundit, every other fan which is not associated with Forest would have had us going down. So we proved everyone wrong, and to get that close to almost getting into Champions League would just been the cherry on top. But listen, we can't take away the season we had and the unbelievable memories we had during that season to get into Europe. You've
obviously still got the ambition of keeping Forest in the Premier League. I mean, what is there to play for in the remainder of this campaign? Quite a lot by the sound of it.
Yeah, there is. Like I said, with managers then, it can be difficult for players because each manager has their own ways of working, their own style of play. I think the manager we got now, he's bringing back stuff that we did last season, that to get togetherness with the group, the bond with the fans, the memories we had last season. He's bringing that back into us this season, and as of late we've been showing that. I think the end goal is to finish up as high as possible in the league, and why can't we dream big and go for the Europa League?
Nico, thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
All the best, yeah.
Cheers, thank you.